Hello, John Talley here with Partzilla.com. Today we're going to show you the procedure to replace the belt on our 2011 Polaris Sportsman 850. It's not really that tough. All we have to do is remove the tire, take out part of that frame brace, and then remove the rear cover. That'll give us access to the belt itself. So let me get this thing up in the air, get the tire pulled off, and I'll show you how to get it done. Alright guys, we've got it up in the air and we've got our tire off. What we need to do is remove these 4 bolts that releases this frame section. After that, we go in and remove all these 10 millimeters, which is holding the actual outer cover on. Once we get that pulled off, you'll see the sheaths as well as the drive belt. And then hopefully you haven't lost this little special tool that'll be used to open up the sheath on the clutch, and that will allow us to get the belt off. So let's start pulling some bolts. Alright guys, we've got the cover off, and now we need to release the tension on this pulley right here, or the driven sheath. What you basically have up there is it's collapsed all the way down onto the belt. What we want to do is remove that bolt right there, or at least loosen it. That way it'll release, and that way we can walk the belt off of there. And there's basically another way to do it, which I don't particularly like. He had this special tool that came with the machine. You put it in there and then push down on it, and that relieves tension on it. All right, but that gets a little bit awkward to work with. So what I prefer to do, use the same tool, go ahead and insert it there, use it to hold that sheath still, and then loosen up that 15 millimeter bolt. So let's get that thing loosened up. Now if you choose to do it this way, you want to make sure when you go to put the other belt back on that it's up high in the sheath by rotating it counterclockwise a couple of times where it's not binding down on it, because you're going to want to get 37 foot-pounds of torque on this bolt. And if it's bearing down on the belt, it's going to give you a false reading. Alright, also want to notice the direction of the belt. See those arrows? She's going around in a clockwise direction. So we want to make sure we put on the new belt in the same direction. Looking at this belt, it wasn't in that bad a shape. A little bit of wear on it. Nothing that severe. What you would want to look for is if it got caught and then just burned like a little section of it. That would make the machine respond real jerky when you would try to engage the sheaths. Want to check the surface area of the sheaths as well. What you're looking for on the surface area of the sheaths, you just want it to be nice and smooth without any real drastic grooves cut anywhere on either side of it. As you can tell by this new one, it's got a nice fluid feel to it. You can't really feel that one because of course this one has its spring inserted inside of it. Actually, she looks to be in pretty good shape. I don't see anything clinking around. And it actually sounded pretty good before we pulled it apart. Well, both the driven and the drive sheaves look good. So I think we can just get another belt on there and keep moving along. All right, the Polaris belt doesn't have a set of arrows in it. This was evidently an aftermarket one that somebody had put on there. But what you want to note is the Polaris, make sure it's facing towards you like this, and that'll be the direction you want to put it back on at. All right, now she's back up in there. Like I said, when we start tightening this upper bolt back down, I want to make sure that it doesn't get bound down inside the sheath so we get an accurate torque reading. All right, guys, we've got it just tightened down a little bit. Now we want to go ahead and set it to 37 foot-pounds. It's a little awkward. We want to get the tool back in there on the other side where it can hold it in place. This way, a third arm would be nice, but we'll make it. There you go. Not binding anywhere, going in the right direction. All right, all that's left now is just to put the cover back on. Make sure before you put the cover back on, this seal's in pretty good shape. So if not, it'll let water get in here, and that will wear out your clutches in a hurry. When I mentioned about water intrusion, this is another clutch off of, course, a completely different machine. You can see all the wear on the inside of these sheaves. And it basically made a mess out of it. I wouldn't even want to imagine trying to drive a machine with this on there. It would not be pleasant. All right, guys, we've got our belt in there. We've got all our 10 millimeter bolts back on this cover. We've got our frame support back in. Got it tightened down. Only thing left now is just to put on the tire and go take it for a spin. Want to take a little bit of time to break in the belt correctly. Just don't start hammering it straight off the get-go. Let it kind of work itself into those sheaves, so it'll get a lot of tension built up on it, and don't want to burn it early or anything like that. Listen, if there's something I missed, something you couldn't see, or you have a question about how I did it, if you would just leave that in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to answer it. If you need any of the parts that we used, come see us at Partzilla.com. And until next time, just want to say thanks for watching.